So today is the day. Today is the day where we're going to get Heart of the Forest 7. And to be honest, after today, other than getting maybe like a million more whispers, I don't really have any reason to forage anymore, which I guess is kind of sad considering it's still a relatively new update. But considering I'm so close to leveling up our Heart of the Forest, I feel like it's a bit of a crime to leave it like that. I mean, it's just not right to leave it like that. Plus, you know, we're going to get 130 Skyblock XP and get 2 tokens of the forest, which sounds really good considering we'll be unlocking, you know, new potential routes in the tree for being Heart of the Forest 7. But we'll soon see that that is actually, it's a bit of a disappointment. I'm not one to complain, but it seems like the rewards for getting Heart of the Forest 6 are substantially better than 7. Anyway, let's save that for later. But now it's time to get our axe out and our pet equipped and our armor on and our equipment on as well too, and just get the bread. To be honest, this really shouldn't take long because I think I still have my daily commissions. Anyway, before we get into it, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5% off. You should join the Discord server. It's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. And finally, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've chopped a decent amount of mangrove trees recently, so I think it's time for a bit of a change and switch over to fig. Why not? I must have already claimed dailies, so we're only getting 700 XP per, which still means it's only probably going to take us like another half an hour. Right, well I believe if we collect these 2 contests, we should have... Oh yeah, we definitely have it because we've got daily XP bonus as well. There we go. Heart of the Mountain, Heart of the Forest tier 7, almost level 464. It's crazy stuff. But now on to the main event, right? We're on to the main event. What do you even get for Heart of the Forest tier 7, you know? You'd think it's a pretty monumentous occasion in the world of foraging. It's got to be good what you get. And it's just not. And the whole reason I'm making this video is it's a bit disappointing, you know? From such a big landmark. Now, you get 2 tokens of the forest as you'd expect. And, well, what can you even unlock? Well, you can go down the forest essence route, which realistically, who is going to do that? Your throwing axe gains permanent homing ability towards trees on Galatea. If you miss, it's kind of a skill issue. You just don't need like aim hacks for your throwing axe. It just seems a bit unnecessary. And then Maniac Slicer, throwing your axe consumes 100% of your total mana. You gain 1 sweep for every 100 mana used for 20 seconds. I mean, that's, you know. You've got Galatea's Might, that is going to give you combat stats, which seems a little bit pointless. Ricochet, your axe has a 1% chance to bounce to a nearby tree when thrown. Just not very good. But the main 2 things that people are going to be looking at is half full and half empty. Half empty, gain 2 foraging fortune and 1 sweep within 16 blocks of a player with half full enabled. And half full, gain 2 foraging fortune and 1 sweep when within 16 blocks of a player with half empty enabled. Now I want to see how these actually scale. Inflicts with so you can only actually have 1 of them unlocked. I didn't realise you... Okay, interesting. This is even worse than I thought. So obviously if you upgrade it, that buff that you actually get, the foraging fortune and the sweep increases as you would probably expect. But let's think about what this actually means. First of all, to even access either of these perks, you have to have Heart of the Forest tier 7. And realistically, probably most players on the island are not even going to have Heart of the Forest tier 7. And then you've basically got to roll the dice between half full and half empty, because which one do you go for, considering they both do the same thing. However, if you have half empty, you need other players with half full enabled to get the buffs, and the same but the other way around for half full, you need other players with half empty enabled. The chances of actually having this happen are probably relatively small in a lobby, and they have to be within 16 blocks of you. Yeah, and for reference, I'm currently stood 16 blocks away from Agatha, so anyone that's further away than this 16 block radius won't even get the buffs from each other. Meaning that if you've got people down here chopping mangrove and then other people up here chopping fig, you're not going to get the buffs from each other unless there's probably a small crossover if someone's here and then you've got somebody else all the way down here. It's just disappointing, not going to lie. And considering if you look at the buffs that you get from Heart of the Forest tier 6, forest speed and forest strength are so strong that it just feels disappointing when you get to the highest out of the forest tier and it's just a bit mid. Now, what I will say is it's not all bad for the heart of the forest tree, considering it's quite obvious that the foraging update is not done and dusted and there is more to come. And if we're going off anything, comparing it to mining seems like the most appropriate thing to do, considering it also has the heart of the mountain tree rather than heart of the forest tree. That, of course, with later updates, got its heart of the mountain increased to tier 10. So, yeah, hopefully we see that in foraging someday, because the buffs for 7 are just not quite it. Anyway, now that I've not really got much more to do, you know, in terms of foraging, it leaves me in a bit of a dilemma, and I've lost so much money on this Jade Dragon. I think I bought it for just shy of 1.1 billion, and the current price of a level 200 is only 740 million. Bear in mind, mine is still 34 levels away, or sorry, 24 levels away from level 200. That's around about another 5 hours of grinding. Yeah, don't know if I should sell it or not. I guess I should probably get its level 200 at minimum. It would have been pretty cool if they integrated the Jade Dragon into a Heart of the Forest stat, like a different perk, instead of one of these basically rubbish perks. I mean, to be honest, I think they should scrap both of them, to be completely honest. And the replacement could just simply be a buff to the Jade Drag that's upgradable with Whispers. I don't know. It kind of makes sense, and it would be cool, and probably much better, and much more of a reward for hitting out of the Forest tier 7. But then that begs the question, what could they actually replace this half empty and half full? What could they replace these rubbish perks with? Well, it could be something to do integrating a pet into it, which would be kind of cool to see. I mean, you'll notice that when you look at the Heart of the Forest tree, there's only really one proper perk that gives foraging wisdom. And you might be thinking, maybe one of these perks should include wisdom, but to be honest, by the time you're 7, you're going to have max foraging anyway, most likely. I don't know what you'd be doing if you hadn't. But, you know, one of the main money-making methods, you know, actually foraging, apart from basically hunting while foraging, is leveling pets, and this is good for leveling pets. I don't know. But it would have been really cool to see them integrate something to do with the Jade Dragon into the menu, into the tree. Or maybe a full set bonus for the armor set that's upgradable through the Heart of the Forest tree. There's quite honestly so many different options, but to be honest, what it is at the moment just isn't quite it. But anyway, that's going to be all for today's video. If you've got any suggestions as to how they could change the Heart of the Forest tree to make it just that bit better for actually achieving Heart of the Forest tier 7, then make sure to leave a comment. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.